刀は抜いた。敵方に一人でも生き残りがいる限り、この刀鞘には収めぬ。全てはお家のためじゃ。
Welcome to this Total War Shogun II campaign gameplay video. Now this is the first in a set of campaign videos that I'm going to do, and it's aimed at people that I've noticed since the release of this game, which is about a year now, still find the game a little bit overwhelming, whether that's because they normally play RTS games that follow more linear sequence of missions from beginning to end, rather than the more dynamic aspect to this game. I'll do the usual disclaimer that I'm not a tactical genius, and you're unlikely to learn anything from me in that respect, and that is not the point of these videos. I'm going to sort of push through them quite quickly and go over the basics more than anything else. Okay, so with that in mind, let's start. Now I'm going to do a new campaign. Now I've got all three, the original Shogun II, Rise of the Samurai expansion, and the standalone Fall of the Samurai. Now I was thinking about which one should I go for, and I thought, well, a lot of people that are struggling probably have the original game, so I'm going to go with Shogun II. Now as you can see, we are in the campaign selection, and what I'm going to do is actually pick the domination campaign, which is my normal one. Now game difficulty is set to normal, I always have it there. I don't tend to have the battle realism mode set on. Now because I want to make this as easygoing as possible for people, I'm going to use the default first clan, which is Josakabi. Now just for those people that aren't really been looking at this in too much detail, you can tell that you start off with one province, and that is true for majority of clans. So I mean, I do recommend going through the tutorials if you haven't done them, but I can also understand that in some aspects they can in themselves be a little bit overwhelming, because you have a lot of army units to deal with at first. But the thing about actually getting on and doing a campaign is that you do start with one or maybe two provinces. Your armies are going to be quite small, maybe half a dozen or so units, and so the battles are as you're starting off a lot more manageable and easier to get into the whole flow. Right, so anyway, let's stop me waffling on. Now I'm going to try and keep these videos down to half an hour to an hour. I'm not too sure at this moment in time how far into the campaign I will be going, but as I said, I'm just going to go over the basics to get you up and running. As you can see, it's loading up. It does take a few seconds. It's probably down to my PC, plus the fact that I've got the video capture software running in the background, which doesn't help matters. There we go. Now I'm going to skip through these. I mean, obviously if you do want to watch the videos, etc.,
until recently,
please do so, but for ease of these videos I'm going to skip them. Now you can see I've been issued a mission, which is the Ichiju clan are all but ousted from our home province of Tosa. Nevertheless, some resistance remains to the northwest. We must crush what remains of the Ichijo and rid ourselves of our former rulers once and for all. Crush the rebellion in the following province, Tosa. And the reward is Inspired Endeavours, which gives us a plus 25% wealth generated by buildings across all provinces for 4 seasons. But as we've only got one province, and we'll only have one province when we actually complete this mission, it'll be a welcome little bit of a boost to our income. As you can see, the enemy unit is there, the rebels, and here we have us and our main city.
Capturing and
Now,
holding the capital
you can see lots of buttons up here, and I'm going to go over these as it pops up that need to actually look at them through the campaign. So don't worry if you think, oh, why isn't he looking at these buttons? I will get to them eventually, depending on what happens within the campaign and, as necessary. Okay, so the first thing I do when I start just get rid of that. When I start a campaign is the Mastery of the Arts, which is our skill trees. And you've got 2 trees basically. One is combat and the other one is to do with infrastructure, really. You've got farming over on the right hand side, you've got your various agents, and also you've got more diplomatic and sort of spiritual guidance. And like I say, over here, Bushido, we've got the military ones. And what I tend to do is I go for the way of the bow as early as possible to get the fire arrows. So that's what I'm going to click on first of all. Always do this so that you don't suddenly think, oh, 2 turns in. I haven't done that yet. Now, before I continue, that's just something else I was going to actually say. The thing about this type of game is, don't worry if you lose. You know, it's not a to Z contest like the normal RTS games. If you lose, you lose. Just start again. It's no big thing. And if you can get into that mindset, you will enjoy the game a lot more. Right. Okay. So after I've been waffling like that, first of all, let's look at our army here, and as you can see, we've got our daimyo, and this is the army that we're going to attack the rebels with. And you've got general, you've got Yari samurai, and then you've got various peasants, 2 units of peasant spearmen, and a unit of peasant archers. Now, to make the victory almost a certain thing, I hope, I'm going to I've clicked on the daimyo, and I'm going to right click on the army, and now you can see the daimyo has now joined this army. Now, before we go any further, just to show you the diplomacy over here, you can see that our clan is highlighted, and you can see under here that the white area is us, our provinces. Well, it's only one province at the moment, and it shows all red areas as our enemy, and there's only one enemy area. You can see Mayoshi, which is one of our neighbours, and they are indifferent to us. We are trading with them at the moment, but we shall see how we go along. So let's just come out of this. Okay, so we are more or less all set to go, and I will just now decide on recruitment, etc. Now, the thing is, you want to get in early parts of the campaign. I like to get as much money in as possible, and so if you look at the infrastructure builds that you've got, you can see you've got rice paddies for 950. You can increase your wealth per turn to 1,237. The roads is just an increase in movement speed, etc. You can build a harbour, and here we've also got a lumber yard, which will only give us 250 increase in wealth per turn, but it does give us 12 tons of high quality timber to trade with, and minus 20% to the cost of recruiting ships. Now this is 5 turns to build, and I think I prefer to do the improved irrigation to get the increased money quicker, because this is only 3 turns. And also the advantage is, as you can see in that little box on the left, it provides food too. Now what I want to build is a stronghold eventually, and if you look about halfway down that tab on the left hand side, I don't know whether you can see these things in the video, I apologise if you can't, you can see it says consumes food 2, which means basically when we build it, it will need 2 food to maintain it, so we don't want to upset our own populace, etc. So this is what we're aiming for with improved irrigation, to be able to build the stronghold without any impact. Okay, so I'm also going to recruit, and as you can see, I've chosen archers and spearmen, and each of those is only going to take 1 turn to actually be recruited and trained. Now there's 2 tabs, 2 boxes here. If I do the bow samurai, you can see this actually pops up with 3, and that's because this castle here can only manage to start recruiting and training 2 units at any one time, and so this unit has got to wait a turn when these disappear before it can start to train. You might say, well, why do that then, blah blah blah, which is a good point, but I wanted them queued up anyway. Now you can see we've still got 980. Now I would refer to them as koku, which is what they're referred to in the original Shogun game, but they're not actually given a particular name. And let's build a port, I think. Okay, so I'm really all set for the end of the turn, apart from the battle, which we're now going to do. Okay, so now I just right click, and as you can see, it shows us a little box of our forces and the enemy forces, which consist of a unit of light cavalry, 2 units of peasant spearmen, and a unit of peasant bowmen. You've got 3 choices basically down here: auto resolve, fight the battle now, or retreat. You won't worry about this, which is a quick save before the battle. I don't really mind if I lose, that's not the point of it. It also gives us a little bit of an idea of what the terrain will be like: hilly, light, forest. Okay, so let's just click the button and get on with it. This is a definite sign that the video capture software is slowing it down, because usually it pops in straight with this screen. But anyway, this gives you a little bit of an idea of what the map is that you're going to face. You can see there are 4 rises here, 2 prominent hills, and another smaller hill at the back there, a bit of a rise here, and these are the 2 deployment areas. This is our area, yellow. Shouldn't be too long now. And as I said earlier, we've got a much smaller force than was shown in the tutorials, so they're much easier to manage, especially if you're a little bit unsure. And the other thing as well is you can try things out in custom battles, which is just you against the computer. So if you want to see how you can actually take out units with archers or mixtures of different units, or how to practice using cavalry, you do use the custom battles. I might do a little tutorial on that, because that's a little bit quirky, I think, that whole screen there. Anyway, here we have weather conditions for the battle. It's dry. It says we've got 3 chances of actually changing the weather conditions, and because there's no adverse effects for us, and I know there's no matchlocks or anything else with the enemy units, I'm going to hit the start deployment. Okay, our setup area is this yellow box area. Now, what I'm first going to do, I'm going to set up our archers, bringing you into the battle, and with the Yari Samurai behind. Now, you can see these little boxes here, and again, I'm just going to go over the ones that I'm going to use. I'm going to use the guard mode, and basically this means when I right click to go somewhere, that will be then their assumed position. So if they do get a little bit impetuous and go charging after units after driving them off, say, then they will return back to that position. If they're in a line together and I order one of them quickly to attack a unit, once it's fended them off, it will come back into the line. I know that sounds a little bit confusing at the moment, but we'll possibly see how that works at some point in time. Right, so I've control left clicked on both these peasants, and I'm going to now do control 2 to make them into a group. And as you can see, we've got this panel up here with different names, all with different layouts for our units, and I'm just going to use the flying bird one, which puts them side by side, which is basically what I'm after. And just reposition the cavalry. As you can see, this blue circle around is an area of influence, and you've got different things like rally and inspire that you can actually use. Let's just check on that. Yep. Now you've also got another command down here, which is Yari wall formation. I don't suppose you can actually read that, but you can see they get tighter together, and it's very good against cavalry. Anyway, let's get on with the battle. So hit start. Get rid of that, don't need to know about that just yet. Now as you can see, the enemy are climbing up onto this hill, as is their wont. Now looking at this hill, we've got this area here we could go up to attack. There's also in this treed area, and here. So what I'm going to do, let's move my Yari, start with my Yari first. I'm going to move my archers here. Now if I press the spacebar, it shows where units are moving to that haven't completed their move, and so now I'm going to tell the Yari Samurai to actually go here. So now you can see that initial move, they've just now repositioned themselves. I'm going to place my peasant archers here and move basically my general and daimyo here. They're going to act as cavalry. I'm going to run down any enemy units. Everyone's moving nicely into position. Now I do have this on an hour timer. You can see that it's got 58 minutes left, and we've immediately got a charge from trying to take out my archers, so we'll move the Yari Samurai up. Take that back a bit. Okay, it's going on quite nicely. It's like they're moving up their second unit of infantry. And my men have been running around rather a lot, hence they are tired. Decided the better of it. They're not actually engaging my archers. Better. Oh, no. That little sign usually means that they can't see. Which is not good. So if bringing them back is a little bit better for him. For them. Our Yari Samurai are suffering. Just can't get an angle on the archers. Okay. It's not good, my Yari Samurai are to break. Let's connect my 2 cavalry units. Broken.
Our general is in grave danger, my lord!
This is not looking good. I thought I had this in the bag.
My lord! A glorious victory will soon be yours!
Jaws of defeat. Okay, and end battle. I was a bit disappointed with the archers not being able to fire, but although the Yari Samurai held up out for quite some time, it's disappointing that they broke and ran. So it says 25 of them left. as you can see, we have gained experience with various units, and at least I've got 25 of them left. Okay, we've got our reward. Now, as you can see, you've got all these little plus marks above the units, and that means there's going to be auto replenishing of the men in these units. This includes the daimyo and the general. Now, if we had a infantry units in a position outside a city without a general, they would not get replenished, but if they're on their own inside a city, then they would. Anyway, what we're going to do is take the daimyo and return into the city. As you can see, they're still replenishing. Okay, well, I think that's it, the end for the first video, and for the second one I will be pressing the end turn, because we've set everything up, all our build queues, etc., recruiting. So hope to see you soon. Thank you very much.